Hi garden friends. Today we're going to look at the area in our garden called the sun garden. We call it that because it's got more than 6 hours of sunlight, which is about the only spot in the whole yard that gets more than 6 hours. So every year we try to do something a little different, and we're going to show you what we've planted this year. So here's the sun garden. In the past we've had some things that got a little too big for the area. This really isn't that big of a garden, so we're trying to keep things under control. We start in the front row with a row of Mounding Petunias. These of course are an annual, and those are supposed to stay in a compact shape. And then behind that there's a small row of sun impatiens. And what I like about those is even if the blooms aren't blooming, the variegated leaves provide a nice contrast for everything else. Then back here we've got a little patch of zinnias and multicolors, and of course zinnias always do well. In the middle we actually have some perennials. New this year is that perennial salvia right there, and the daisies on each side. And then these two purple plants came up from last year, and they're actually blooming. They look a little different than the salvia. I'm not sure what they are. I'll have to look that up. And then down here we have some smaller daisies that stay shorter, and just filled in a little hole with some zinnias there. In the back we have the Asiatic Oriental lilies that come up every year, and some of them have already gotten a little too large for the area, so I'm going to have to move those toward the back after they bloom. Over here we have some tall phlox, and we have some on the other side too, and they tend to spread, so I'm sure I'll have to take out some of that and put them somewhere else. So to round out the look, we have some hanging baskets. This is a black-eyed Susan vine that is an annual, and it's blooming very nicely so far. And we've planted a couple of hanging petunias. Those are Super Petunias bubblegum pink, and they always do very well. So we'll see how this all turns out. So check back in about a month and we'll have part 2 here for you to look at.